there they were. Marion Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Steve Nash. 7 seconds or less. Are you kidding me? They took the NBA by storm. And what I loved about it, it was not a super team. It was a homegrown product, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, Amari was kind of not an unknown, but you didn't know he was going to be as good as he was when you drafted him. They've had a few. I mean, obviously Devin Booker at pick 13. They've had some steals in their draft history over the last 20-ish years. It does sort of raise the question, Wolf, and I oddly enough had this conversation with a few people a couple weeks ago. I don't even know how it came up, but it was, you start to try and rank the best Phoenix Suns of all time. It came up because of Devin Booker. And I think Booker is the best Phoenix Sun of all time. And he obviously has the advantage of he's going to get to continue to play. I know most people don't agree with me. Most people will say it's Barkley, then Nash, then Booker. Trust me, everybody I talked to said it's Barkley, then Nash, then Booker. Some said Nash, but nobody had Booker higher than third. You can put him second. He's going to be first within like a year if he's not already. But whatever. It's fitting to me that Amari and Sean Marion are going in the same year. Because after those top three, it might be Amari and Sean Marion. but it also, Kevin Johnson, Chris Paul to a certain extent, Tom Chambers, Dan Marley. There have been a lot of good players in this team's history.
I'll go back even before your time right there, even before TC. Walter Davis, ladies and gentlemen, Walter Davis. Connie Hawkins, the Hawk.
Pretty good player.
Oh my goodness! I mean, these are some legendary dudes right there, and I don't want to just dismiss Paul Westphal and Dick Van Arsdale, of course, but those guys, Dan Marley, Thunder Dan, my affinity for Dan and the competitiveness of Dan Marley and the legend that he is and was. There's a lot of names out there to kick around.
I think
it's what do you appreciate about the game of basketball? What is it?
If you ask people who their favorite Phoenix Sun is of all time, if we threw out that poll question, it was like, give us your top, 3 or 4, whatever.
Why are we not doing that?
Well, maybe we could do that.
Why are we not doing it right there? Just give us your top 3 Suns players.
Your top 3 favorite. Do you want favorites or best?
Favorites.
I want favorites because Dan Marley's not one of the 3 best, but he's definitely going to get a lot of votes as one of the 3 favorites. And when I say he's not one of the 3 best, that's not a knock on Dan Marley. I'm just saying he's not Devin Booker, Charles Barkley, or Steve Nash. But if you go, who are your 3 favorite Suns of all time, Dan Marley's going to get a lot. I think he might be like the all-time fan favorite. Mikal Bridges would have been if he stuck around up. It's not his fault he didn't stick around, but he's probably going to get some votes as well. But Marley's up there for sure.
I do have a quick question.
Yes.
Say the Suns do win a championship with Kevin Durant. Where do you think Kevin Durant would be on that list?
Got to move up pretty quick. It's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Right
Anybody on the championship team, if they win, is going to get vaulted right up to the top.
Yeah.
There'll
be a few exceptions, I'm sure.
They'll get a huge boost. Let's put it that way.
Nobody's gonna, Bradley Beal was
Maybe.
the greatest. Well,
you don't know what role he's going to play in this future hypothetical
How about
championship.
That? Sorry about that, Bradley. I didn't mean to disparage you in any way, shape, or form.
I thought you were going to say Watanabe.
Yeah,
because you had the chance.
It really is, though. I got to tell you right now, it's Sean Marion for me.
Is he your favorite?
Sean Marion is one of my top 3 favorite Suns of all time. The Matrix. First of all, it's just because he was so athletic. He was so versatile as well.
He was everything.
This is a guy who could shoot the 3, and this was also a guy that could tomahawk, throw down, dunk like you've got no business doing. His raw athleticism out on the court was awesome, and he had a funky technique in shooting the 3. I think we all would recognize that.
Yeah.
It wasn't classic by any way, shape, or form, but for me, Sean Marion and the defender that he was, this was a 2-way player, Basinonians, if ever there was, and a guy that could play in the half court as well as run the floor. Love Sean Marion.
Yeah, I think he's going to be on a lot of people's lists too. Amari would be up there for me, certainly. I mean, Marion would be too. This is a tough thing if you have to pick three.
I love Amari, too.
My number one would have to be Booker, which is interesting because I don't usually just go with the best player, but I think and I don't even think it's recency bias. I just think that this era of Suns basketball coming out of the previous era and him being in both of them and him sticking around when the team was truly bad, that scores points with me. But yeah, you're right. Sean Marion would be up there for sure. And so it's fitting that Marion and Amari both go in this year. I like Matt Ishbia stepping in and immediately recognizing that this needs to happen. And they are going to have 17 guys in the Ring of Honor now, Wolf. They're going to run out of room around the arena just because they have 17 guys in the Ring of Honor at this point.
Did you hear some of the stuff that Matt Ishbia was saying based on earnings? Did you hear this? This is... I literally wrote it down in my notes. I was like, this is one of the greatest things in the world. Matty Ish is acting like he's owned the team since its inception. like the Suns were passed down inside his family. Listen to some of the things that he said. I don't know if we actually have the cuts. Do we have the cuts, guys?
I think he just said it.
It's just in a statement.
Yeah. It's in a statement right there. You could almost hear him saying it, right? As we embark on the new era of Suns basketball, it is a priority that we remain connected to our storied history. We are excited to celebrate Sean and Amari and properly recognize their incredible contributions and achievements. I absolutely love it, man. Just the fact that he's invested in honoring the past, which a lot of owners, I don't know if they'd be so cool with all that. Seriously, this is a new era. I'm sorry, we're taking over here.
Yes, this is the Ishbia era.
If you guys didn't put him into the Ring of Honor, you think I'm going to?
I mean, there are owners that would rather put their own name in the Ring of Honor than acknowledge anything that happened before they got there. I've said this before about Matt Ishbia, but he hasn't proven me wrong yet. You just said, he owns this team as if it's been passed down through his family, his entire, Yeah. He continues to run this team like he's been a longtime fan of this team. And it's not like he's from here. Obviously basketball at Michigan State, he's up in Michigan a lot of the time. But ever since he took over this team, he runs it like somebody that appreciates what the 7 seconds or less era was and suffered through the 2010s. And so this doesn't shock me at all. It's very fitting, though, and it's not that it's overdue, but it's fitting that those guys are going in basically together. They'll get their own nights this year, but going in the same year.
I just got to read this quickly. He said, Sean and Amari are two of the very best to ever wear a Phoenix Suns uniform. Sean changed the game with his elite versatility, and Amari was one of the most electrifying players the league has ever seen. Sean and Amari helped define the Suns and inspired generations of fans. And our Suns family is incomplete without them in the Ring of Honor. Well done, Matt.
He's right.